What's up, guys? I'm back with another movie review. Today I'm here to talk about the original Mission Impossible, the first one in the series. I know this might be kind of an odd one since it's a little bit older and it's not really, there's a ton of reviews, so it's not like it's a hard movie to find opinions on. But I'm rewatching the entire series to review them for my website, so I figured I'd go ahead and drop videos as well. So in this one, Ethan Hunt finds himself on the run. He's had to have gone rogue and go into hiding even from the IMF because he was supposed to figure out who this mole was who was going to release this knock list with all the deep cover agents' classified information, and that kind of went haywire. He lost a lot of his team members. Everything went south, and the fingers were kind of pointing at him as like, hey, you're the guy who survived, so more than likely you're the guy who's responsible. You're the mole. But obviously that's not the case, and in order to clear his name, he has to put together a team of high-skill outsiders to help him infiltrate the IMF itself and, clear his name, prove his innocence, and, keep his mom out of jail on trumped-up drug charges. That's the plot line here. I really like this one. I wouldn't say it's my favorite Mission Impossible movie because I do like the spectacle of some of the ones that would follow. But the one thing I do really like about this movie, above all else, is that it feels like a spy movie. It's got tons of espionage, double crosses, manipulation. The action set pieces, with the exception of like the big helicopter chase, really feel grounded, and even if they're like heightened and exaggerated, it still feels like it's plausible within the Mission Impossible world. Like the infamous lowering him down from the ceiling, he's got to catch the drop of sweat. Like, that's pretty exaggerated, but it's like within the Mission Impossible world, though, it kind of makes sense. So I appreciated that it's not this just over-the-top action spectacle. It actually feels like a real Mission Impossible story. Tom Cruise, I think, is really good in this. I actually think the Mission Impossible movies are some of his best work. The story is real convoluted with a lot of twists and turns, and like I said, double crosses, and just kind of nonsense, to be honest. But it's fun, and it makes sense within like the spy world, because you would have constant double crosses and paranoia and just all this craziness, and I think it turns into a fun story, even if it's not necessarily a good story. Like I said, it doesn't have as much action as some of the ones that would follow, but it's a really solid movie, and I think for like a Mission Impossible movie, it's about as good as you could hope going through the studio system. Brian De Palma was the director. He did not return for the sequel, unfortunately. I would have liked to have seen what he could have done if he would have stayed on in future installments. Instead, we kind of got the whole like jumping from director to director thing, which still put out some pretty entertaining movies, but I would have liked to have seen what would happen if the entire thing was kind of in the hands of the same creative team every time out. But I like this movie. I like the colorful people they assembled for the various teams, and I love the death at the beginning of Emilio Estevez. He's on top of an elevator. He gets shot to the top, and his big peach goes right to his face. It's one of those things where you don't see it. You don't really see anything because the camera pulls away like just before something happens. But it's such a perfect edit, and it's such a perfectly like handled scene that you swear to God you see that thing just go completely through his skull. It's really cool. Well, for somebody like me, other people may not like it as much. So I really like Mission Impossible. I think it's a fun movie. It's kind of nonsensical and convoluted, but it's a fun spy movie. I think it feels way more like Bond than any of the stuff that would follow. So I know some people would prefer the action of the later movies, and I agree. Some of them are pretty fun, especially 2 is just so outlandish and over the top, but I'll get to that in a separate review for that one. So that's my review of Mission Impossible. If you want to read more about it, you can go to my website, markfusion.com, and read about it, as well as over 1,000 other movie reviews. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Patreon. $5 a month gets you exclusive content. I'm also on Letterboxd, where I diary what I'm watching, so you can get an idea of what might be coming up on this channel soon. And I'm also, that's it, I think. I don't think there's another also. But the best thing you can do to help me out, like I always say, is just hit that sub button. And, it's a free, easy way to directly support me and help me to continue to make content. And also watching the old videos, if there's a movie that catches your eye, by all means, check it out. That really helps. It might not seem like it does, but it's actually a pretty huge help because YouTube is so stringent on small channels like mine that we have to hit all these different minute times and view counts. So thank you so much for watching this video. I do greatly appreciate it. I know it's one that's definitely been covered to death, but I figured, why not make it so everybody has reviewed it. So there's my review of Mission Impossible. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon.